All right, Nick, let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes. Miami had an extremely exciting offseason. I think a lot of great additions to this Miami roster really have boosted them up. And I think now there's a lot of really great analysts, writers, pundits around the world who are noticing Miami and saying that this could be a really successful team. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. And Nick, as I alluded to, there's some really interesting statements by some writers when asked a question about what teams are going to make the college football playoff. Let's get into the article and we can talk more about it all on the other side. This is from Canes Warning. It says 10 out of 15 writers ESPN asked who is most likely to make the playoff field named Miami in an article published on Thursday. So 10 out of those 15 writers named Miami as the answer to that question. The college football playoffs select the top 5 conference winners and 7 wildcards. Miami has a 17.3% chance to make the college football playoff per ESPN Football Power Index. And I think this is a really interesting story here. I think it brings to light that people are starting to notice that Miami has something special brewing down in Coral Gables. This team has a lot going on, and I think people are finally noticing this could be the powerhouse out of the ACC. This could be the team that makes the playoff run this year. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick. But before we get to you, Hurricanes fans, in the comment section below, we're talking ACC football. We're talking college football playoff. Now, I think you got to win the ACC championship to get there, and I think you're the clear favorite to be one of the top teams in the ACC. But I'm curious, in the comment section below, who are you thinking is the competition in the ACC? What other teams are you looking for as teams they're going to give Miami a run for their money? Maybe there's nobody. Maybe there's a couple guys up there. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what are your thoughts on this article about Miami?
Yeah, I have a theory when it comes to sports writers and people on ESPN and stuff like that. They're always about 3 months late to the game, right? It's just the way the news cycle works. They always top the big headlines and they're always shocked, right, when something happens like, whoa, this came out of nowhere. Like, it kind of was noticed 3 months ago. And if you look at the Miami Hurricanes, you go back to the end of spring ball, the beginning of summer, and we talked about it on this channel. Miami fans, you know this very well. There was clearly and undeniably energy, momentum, buzz behind this program. They were more talented than they've been in a very long time. They're going to be better at quarterback with Cam Ward than they've been in a very long time. Mario Cristobal's strategy through the transfer portal, through the recruiting game, developing young players coming into their own. It was all culminating together, building a lot of momentum. And I think when everyone saw Florida State get upset last weekend, now everyone's like, oh my gosh, Miami's the best team in the ACC. Even outside of Florida State's performance, we've been talking about how good Miami has been for a very long time, not because we're some kind of super geniuses or anything. We're not. It's just obvious, right? It's not some kind of earth-shattering concept to realize, this team is really good at all the positions that matter. They've got a lot of depth. They've got a good combination of young freshmen ready to play as they move into the college football world, transfers coming in. Like I said, young guys developing and breaking out. Coach Cristobal's developed a solid amount of continuity with Miami. This is a program that's been building and culminating for a number of years, and I think they're ready to have a massive, explosive campaign. And look, I think the fact that 10 out of 15 writers say they're most likely to make the college football playoff, some of that is the schedule. But let's think about this for a second. The Georgia Bulldogs are clearly the best team in football, in college football, in terms of ranking position, talent, performance last couple of years. Why aren't they number one? Right? Why isn't a team like, I don't know, Alabama, historical great, number one? Why isn't Ohio State number one, right? They haven't been outside the top 10, top 12, and I feel like 300 games, right? So many people are picking Miami, not just because of an easier ACC, because they honestly believe, and correctly so, that this is an 11 or 12 win team on talent alone. The fact if you bring in an easier schedule means they probably should win those 11 and 12 games, potentially run the table and go undefeated, right? We're looking at, in my opinion, it's early. My prediction for Miami, I think they lose one game at most during the regular season, barring any kind of crazy injuries or anything like that, right? This team is uber talented. The schedule lines up pretty well for them for most of the regular season. They've got the right quarterback, the coach's strategy, Cristobal's strategy is coming into fruition right now. This is a team that everyone should be worried about outside of basically Coral Gables. And I think for the first time in a long time, all the hype and energy behind Miami is 100% warranted. I think they're a real threat, not just to make the college football playoff this year, but to make a real run at a national title.
Yeah, Nick, and I think the craziest part about all of this is that it's not 15 out of 15 rather than 10 out of 15 because I think Miami has done so much to build up this team. The offense, I think that was the weak point. Van Dyke, he wasn't the quarterback that you wanted behind this offense. I think Ward is definitely the guy. He's a more dynamic player. I think that is the big addition here. Plus, they've gotten so many great players. You look at the big time recruits they got in this year as well. You look at Marquise Lightfoot, Armando Blunt, Zaquan Patterson. These are all guys on the defensive side of the ball who are doing really well and are looking great early on in Miami. So I think we're going to see these guys hit the field. We're going to see these transfers come in. They've come in from Miami, hit the field. This is a team that's going to be drastically different. And I think everyone in the ACC has gotten significantly worse as well. I think Miami just is going to be the top dog there. And I don't see why everybody is not picking them to be the clear-cut favorite to make this college football playoff.
Yeah, when you take a deeper look at their schedule, I mean, there's the opportunities there, undeniably so. They go out Florida, which I think they should win to start off the regular season. I think they're clearly better. Then they get Florida A&M, Ball State, South Florida. They're going to wreck them. Vautech is interesting just because it's, Vautech can be kind of a feisty team, even though they haven't been good, consistently good for a while. Then you go to Berkeley. You're going to beat Berkeley. Louisville could be interesting. Florida State, how good is Florida State? I mean, we just saw what happened to them week 1. Then you finish it out with Duke, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, and Syracuse. I mean, like I said, there's one loss there for Miami, right? Maybe one loss. If they go undefeated, I wouldn't be surprised. And I think they're probably going to favorite to win the ACC title when it's all said and done. I think this is, again, a team, not just on the schedule. Schedule looks good, but when you compare talent, schedule, you've got opportunity, you've got energy, you've got roster building, you've got great leadership at the top of Cristobal, you've got great leadership from a player perspective in Cam Ward. There's a lot going right for Miami at the right time. It's looking like it could be a special year for the Hurricanes.